Hello Soma fam. So today we're going to learn how to make these pincushions using scraps and leftover fabric. So if this is what you want to watch, please stay tuned. So here we're going to do pinpoints in the middle, then measure all around. So you can either use this format, I'll show you the next format. And the thing is, you can reduce it, this 3.5, we reduce it to 2.5 inches if the first picture, the first video that you saw is what you'd want to achieve. That's a pincushion. But if you'd want to achieve the next one I'm going to make, which is bigger than that, this is what you're going to use. So I made use of 3 inches. You can see how I folded it. And this is easier than that other one. So you can either do this or do the other. And then I opened it up. So this is 3 inches. You can make 2.5, you can make 2 inches, so it depends on you. So now after cutting it out on this fabric, I can get 2 out of it. So I'm just going to make use of 1. So then I got this is an SD, that is paper SD, very thick. So we're going to measure it, so it's enough. What I want to get out of it is less than, it's just up to 3.5 inches. So I have 5 to 4.5 inches width and breadth. So what we're going to do now is fold it like I showed you earlier, then measure it. So we're going to measure 1.75, which is 1/3. Measure it all around, mark it, and cut it out like this. So from that center point at the edge, I was able to get this circle. So this is for the bees. So we're done with the top, and this is for the bees. So we're going to cut it out. Use this pattern we've made and cut out the fabric for the bees. That's for the bottom part. After it's cut out like this, we'll keep that paper. We're going to make use of it later. It's going to make it thick and firm. So these are the two we're going to make use of, the base and the top. The top is wider than the base. So I ironed up an SD on it. So you either use this SD. So I have a white SD. You see how rough it is at the back and then smooth in front. Then you can see the black SD. If you want to see more about materials or things that fashion designers should know about, watch my previous video. I given full update about it. So here is the SD ironed on the fabric. So we're going to first deal with the base. So first we're going to measure it. So we're meant to get 3.5 here. So I have more than 3.5, so it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is measure the midpoint. That's the half. It's like slicing bread into 2. So in this case, we're slicing it into 2, just marking it into 2, we're not slicing it. And then we'll measure 1 inch out and 1 inch at this other end. So this is where our elastic band is going to pass. So I'll measure 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on the other. And you can see the length is going to be 1.5 because the elastic band is as wide as 1.5 inches. So I'll measure 1.5 and 1.5. I'll show you the elastic band now. The thing is that the elastic band, you can make use of it. I would want it to be elastic, tight. Sometimes if you don't want it to be tight, so see the 1.5 width I told you about. So if you don't want it to be tight, you can make use of this, which is 8.5 inches. But you should measure your wrist around. So if you want it to fit and grasp your hand well, you can use 6 inches or 6.5 inches. So first and foremost, we'll cut it out. Cut out the parts, not cut it out entirely, but just cut out that midpoint we measured of 1.5 inch and 1 inch on both sides. See? So the length of it is 1.5 because we want the elastic band to be able to pass, but by the edges 1 inch by both sides. So pass this inside to see if it fits like this. So you can either use the elastic band exactly as it is, it's beautiful, but I want to cover it up with fabric so that it's very smooth and soft on your wrist or your hand. So the previous one I made use of is this blue one. So the blue one is not enough again. I used the scrap, and this was what was left from scrap. So 4 inches width is what I'm after, but the length you can make it as long as you want. You can make it as long as 13 inches. For this red one, the netting fabric, the scrap, it's 13 inches. So you can make use of 13 inches, 16 inches. So I used the other just to get the width that is measured here already. So I cut out all around like this and then opened it up. So the fabric is so transparent, so I made use of another mesh a golden mesh I had left and sewed it on it like this. And now I'll fold it on the other side and sew. So this is it after it's sewn. So I trimmed the edge and then turned it over. So after turning it over, this is how it looks. So the length of the fabric will tell you how long the elastic band can go. So this is a very stretchy elastic band. So I pass it through the hole so that it goes all the way to the end and also at the beginning. So when I was able to fit it in, I pinned down this part and then pinned down the other part as well, so that I would sew it. So those places that are pinned, I sew them up like this. So this is it after it has been sewn. Can't you see how beautiful it looks? It has a lot of gathers and it's the same inches. So you stretch it, this is how far it can go. Then here is the base. So pass it inside like this, then pin it down. It's more like less than ½ inch, 0.25. Pin it down, make sure it's also attached to the back. So I did for the other side as well. After pinning it down, this is how it's sewn and this is how it looks. So remember that paper I told you about? That's SD, paper SD. So we're going to iron it on this. So this is it after it has been ironed. So I pressed it down like this with my iron. I made it firm. So this is how it looks. So we're done with the first path, and now we're going to join the top to the bottom, to the base. So what we're going to do to the top is we're going to gather it. So put gathers to make sure it fits. So every step of the way we're going to be sewing and putting gathers. So don't forget to like and subscribe. It will help the channel grow. And if this was helpful, tell me down in the comment section. And if there's anything you want me to show you or put you through, just tell me. I'm eager to learn and I'm also eager to teach. So here we're going to put the gathers all around and sew till this point. But we'll ensure we leave a space where we can turn over and also fill up, because we're going to stuff it up with scraps of fabric. Aside using scrap of fabric to make this, so we're going to sew and just leave a little space. And yes, this space is enough for it to be able to turn over. So we'll lock it up with our back stitch, and here is the scrap of fabric we're going to make use of. So we'll turn it over. This is how it looks. So we're going to turn it over like this. That's why it's necessary to lock it up. So you lock it up, it won't loosen. So I'm going to turn it over, and this is how it looks when it's turned over. So now we're going to fill up this empty space with our scrap fabric. So stuff it in, like stuffing your chicken. Okay. So this is very eco-friendly. It's a situation where you don't have to waste scraps, and you can make use of scraps to make something so beautiful like your pincushion. So I stuffed it in and then pressed on it so that it can be able to relax inside. And when I was sure it's enough, I took my needle and threaded the needle, knotted at the edge, then sewed. So first I'll pass the needle through the bottom part, the base that is hard, and lock it like this so it doesn't loosen. Then go to the top and go in like that and then tighten it. So that's what I did all through, like this, to ensure that it's locked in. Like this and like that. So don't forget to like and subscribe, because it will help my channel grow and it will help all of us grow. So we'd have to create more beautiful videos like this. If you have ideas on what to sew, what you'd want to be sewn, I don't mind. I'm eager to hear from you. So it's sewed this way all the way till the end and lock it in. So I tucked it in like this, so it has a seamless sew and a neat finishing. So after sewing, I ensure that the stitches do not show, so I covered it up and sewed around like this till it looked perfect. So after I finish sewing, I'll just cut the thread out, and this is the finishing. This is how it looks. So this is quite bigger than the previous one. So you see, I love it. I don't like it directly on the wrist. I just like it up here. So this is the smaller one and the bigger one. So thank you for watching. Bye.